Good evening, everybody. So this is week 4, discussion 4. So we are talking about the language we speak and how our native language can influence our thoughts. I think for me, the biggest thing is with being adopted that I grew up in 2 different families. I grew up in African-American family, and then up until I was about 9, I lived with a predominantly white family. And so I think that my native language, even though English, there is just a different way that we would speak to people in African-American household compared to a white household. And so I think the biggest influence that it had on my thought is kind of like, where do I fit in? Where do I belong? Because I had a lot of people say, oh, well, you speak really well for a Black person, or you sound really white, or something like that. I think that the biggest influence is just kind of figuring out where I fit in because of the way that I kind of speak. I look one way, I sound one way, and it doesn't always fit in. The next question is about the word thug, and that words never keep their meaning over time. A word is a thing that is on the move. A word is a process. So this one, a word is a thing on the move. I think that with the word thug and words like demeaning words towards people or categorizing people or things like that, yes, it does change over time. The meaning of it can change a little bit over time, but the stigmatism behind it does not change. So that's one thing that with this, that a word never keeps their meaning over time, I don't particularly agree with. I think that what happens is that we get more resilient to a word. I think that it can change a little bit, like the word sick. When I was younger in high school, like always say, oh, that's sick. Like now you don't hear that as much. And like instead of being like actually sick, I think that words can change their meaning like that. It could be cool, it could be something else, but I think that there are other words that don't change their meaning. For the third question, what does a lecturer mean that a lover of words is a lover of many worlds? I love this because somebody who loves words, a word can mean something completely different in another world, another country or whatever. And so there are so many different ways to say something. There are so many different ways to express yourself. And so someone who loves those words is also going to love other people's cultures because there's such a rich culture that comes in words. I think so. One of the things I think I mentioned in one of my previous videos is like when I went to Africa, like a hello was a saying that said, I see you. Our hello here is very meaningless. And there it's like, oh my gosh, I'm acknowledging you as a person. And I think that our words have different meaning. Like here, if you tell someone like, I see you, it's more of like, yeah, I see you. Like, that's cool. Like, I see what you're doing and whatever. But there it's like, I see you as a person. And I think that with that, a lover of words is a lover of many worlds because there are so many different ways to say things to people in our world.